So you got 6, Gerald. Ed Hogan, Gerald, yep, Vince Whittle.
And you're on the air.
Good morning, everybody. This is our quarterly meeting of the hazard mitigation. We had somebody just call in. Can you state your name?
Vince Whittles.
Okay, Vince. So going to call the attendance. Steve Walker is not present. Eric Benson is standing in for Mark Stancliffe. We have Bill Hunt on the line. Bill, are you on the line? I'll come back to Bill. Tony Wheatley is not going to be here. I have myself, Gerald Gardner, representing Emergency Services. Ed Hogan's in the room, representing Metcom. We have Vince Whittles, representing the community members on. Philip Birch, State Highway Leonardtown online. Don't see Mike Wyant nor John Dietrich. So we are going to go ahead and start with the agenda. We have 6 in attendance. No, we don't have 6. Well, we do, because Eric. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting? I would need a motion to the...
Yes, I make a motion to approve the minutes. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
So a motion by Vince Whittle, second by Ed Hogan to approve the minutes, hold on, of the May 19, 2021 meeting as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any noes? Motion passed. Okay, old business. We have some good news in reference to the Silver Jackets that we've been working with MDE in the state and a lot of our partners. We received an email from Jason Stick and Kevin Wagner on July 26th that they were notified that the project was approved, and they will be setting up another meeting for October once the funding has been approved, once they have received the funding. And then we'll start, I'm sure, setting up committees, having meetings, having community involvement to start that project of the McIntosh Run survey from the Silver Jackets. So that's very good news. Next up on the agenda is an update for the BRIC and FEMA grant, the hazard mitigation grant. On June 30th, 2021, FEMA announced the selection of the 2020 grants for $700 million that were available. FEMA received 1,216 sub-applications requesting $3.99 billion. And again, they approved $700 million. I did get a printout from the state, and it is in our board docs and online. The state of Maryland had $74 million in projects. One of those projects was $35 million. And of the other ones, there was only $5 million approved, or a little over $5.5 million. So it's a very competitive grant when we do the hazard mitigation. You can see there's a lot of applicants trying to get the money. There was not a lot from the state that they feel, or nor we feel, that were awarded. A bunch of them were ineligible. It was a lot of money, but again, one project was $35 million. So that's the update on the BRIC. The bylaws, we brought at the last meeting, at the July 13th to send the bylaws to the commissioners for approval, and that was done. Actually, they did it on July 13th. At our last meeting, we approved to send them to the commissioners, but, so on July 13th, the commissioners signed our Hazard Mitigation Committee bylaws, and we'll make that part of our hazard mitigation plan, and they will be available online. Next up, I have new business, and the new business is for committee member request change. Per Mark Stancliffe, who has been representing IT, he thinks it would be beneficial for us to have Eric Benson versus himself. He will definitely fill in and assist anyway, but have Eric appointed as the committee member. So I would like a motion that we send a letter to the commissioners requesting that change from Mark Stancliffe to Eric Benson as the representative for information and technology.
Make that motion.
So
I make a motion as stated.
okay, so that was Vince Whittle was second. Bill Hunt made the motion to approve. Let me get the correct wording. To request a letter be sent to the Commissioners of St. Mary's County asking that Eric Benson replace Mark Stancliffe as the representative for Department of Information Technology. Correct, Bill?
Right.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
So motion carried. Update, so Bill Hunt is now in the meeting here.
I couldn't get audio.
Okay. Thank you for walking over. And John Dietrich has joined us, so thank you, John.
Apologies for being a couple minutes late.
The next one, again, is part of our informational package and is online, is the FEMA revised maps. We received an email on July 23rd of the updated FEMA map revision. There was a lot of properties in St. Mary's County that were affected with the new map revision, and that's all part of will be part of our minutes in our own board doc. And we will be looking into this very heavily as we get involved with the Silver Jackets. Most of them, there's some inner land properties, but then there's a lot of also waterfront properties. So again, that's all part of our package that goes into detail, and we will be looking at that with the Silver Jackets and the nuisance flooding plan as we move forward. And that will affect the flood insurance rate maps. So, moving on, does anybody have any other new business? All right, I'm going to go with the people online first. As far as board member time, Eric Benson, do you have anything?
Not at this time.
Thank you, sir. Philip Birch, anything?
No, I'm good, Gerald.
Thank you, Phil. Vince Whittles?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Bill Hunt?
Just like to welcome Eric I think it's especially important that he be on as a regular member because he,
Please go to the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
welcoming Eric Benson, thinking it's very important that he be on as a member because he is the creator of the damage assessment app.
Yep. Mark and I talked in length, and Mark's done a wonderful job for us, supported us many ways, but he thinks Eric can be more involved and help us not only with that, but with mapping and GIS for our nuisance flooding plan and different things. I know that John Dietrich's working on a lot of stuff with DP&W, drainage, bridges, all those different things. So we will send that letter today to the commissioners. Ed, do you have any, or Bill, is that it?
No.
I'm sorry, Ed, anything?
No, thanks.
Okay. John Dietrich.
Yeah, I had a couple things, Gerald. Thanks for the opportunity. First, tied to the mapping, we've got MES now under PO to do infrastructure asset inventory to bring our culvert mapping, which is basically at this point the cross pipes, not driveway pipes, up to date. We're going to update the maps of the driveway pipes whenever we replace any, and when we get a little more space, we'll work on a better general inventory of that, but try to pick it up whenever we do paving projects and so forth. Probably more operationally critical at this point is that we're probably going to have to do an update to the nuisance flooding plan from information that we're picking up as we go back through the 311 request that we haven't been able to answer. And it's kind of broken into a couple different categories. We have whole neighborhoods, which, some are very familiar, but some are kind of coming onto the list. And they're in both interior and coastal. That kind of picks up what you talked about, the FEMA flood maps. So there's historic ones we know that are going to be affected, the Tall Timbers and Golden Beach, so forth. We've got work underway in Golden Beach. There's county-owned facilities that we're still learning about, and we're going to try to, an example of that is there's a problem with a county-owned piece on FDR, a forebay for a pond that's actually owned by the HOA. The HOA pond needs considerable work as well, and it's contributing to flooding for a property at Old Rolling Road and FDR, for example. So that's kind of a combination of effects, but it's definitely a problem that's on the inventory. We got to deal with it. Then there's developer problems. Cecil Mills is kind of our latest addition to that list, where half the subdivision basically is soaking wet 365 days a year. And part of that may have developed over time as places that did absorb some water don't absorb any anymore. There's a lot of hydric soils, really big problems. And then the people with basements have sump pumps running 24/7, which does nothing but pump the groundwater up and put it on the surface and create that surface water problem. So we're in kind of a discussion back and forth a little bit with Bill Hunt on that one just about whether we ought to be tighter on who gets to build basements and how they dispose of the water from the sump pumps. It's a big problem all over, unfortunately, now. Then there's aging infrastructure, which Belvoir, Greenview, Greenwoods is a good example of that. But Yowalski Mills, that rotted out culvert and head wall is one we're going to pursue. And I wanted to bring that one up specifically because it's going to require detour. And so Mechanicsville Road, Zane's, I asked Don to have Zane, because Don was on a call earlier this morning, ask Don to have Zane forward that detour plan to you, Gerald, and also to Allison so she can plan for non-public school, and the school board so they can, because there are definitely going to be school buses, STS affected by it.
And when is that planning to start?
We'd like to start within the month, not August, but early September, because that's usually a little drier time of year. So we will have less problems with pumping water around the site. We'll have, just fewer rain events, hopefully, and will not be in the fish exclusions, the spawning season. Unfortunately, it's during school, but we've really got to get it done. It's a public safety issue. We're worried about the culverts collapsing.
Estimated time?
Probably take about 6 weeks, we think.
Yeah, so get that over. We
8
need
weeks. Right,
to let our first responders know,
right.
MSP, sheriffs, so that coordination, so.
Yeah, and then there's a whole list of really what are private issues. Andover Estates is a good example. The public road gets wet and the ditches stay filled with water for a long time after events, but it's the huge volume of water that's reaching the road from the farm fields, essentially. And so that's, we've been still trying to find a solution for that because the road ditches are wet. It's sort of like Golden Beach. And that's an issue that's accelerated. There's a woods that probably took a lot of the water, but those woods have turned into a wetland. So, these things are evolving, and so I want the commissioners to know there's going to be updates to the nuisance flooding plan periodically.
And we're supposed to review that, I believe, every year.
Right, anyway,
So,
yeah.
But it needs to be a working document, as we've
Absolutely.
learned, as our hazard mitigation, a working document that needs to change and update accordingly. And I do like the mapping with MES on your infrastructure. We found that very important, dealing with FEMA on Isaias.
Oh, yeah.
It would definitely help with the silver jackets and that project we're getting ready to undertake, so.
Right.
Anything else?
That's about it.
That's a lot, so.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Motion by John Dietrich. Second by
Second.
Ed Hogan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
No opposed. Thank you very much.